Welcome back to Real Sports Live. The Weber State Wildcats are ranked number 4 in the nation in the FCS rankings, and we are thrilled to have with us in the studio the head coach of those Wildcats, Mr. Jay Hill. Jay, thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, good to be with you guys.
Thanks, Jay. Coming off a big win over Sacramento State yesterday. You're now 7-2 on the year. You've won 4 in a row. What do you like most about your team this year so far?
Their toughness, their resilience. It seems like at the end of the game, the score's not quite indicative of how the games have gone. We've beat a lot of our opponents pretty soundly, but the scores aren't always showing that. But the players just keep fighting and battling.
You're finding ways to win. You win big, you're winning close games, which has got to make you happy as a coach, although I'm sure you'd like to see the bigger win.
Absolutely. I mean, the ultimate goal is to get the win, and like last week's game against Sac State, it gave us an opportunity to get our backups in, and we gave up a late touchdown, but I think the necessity of getting those backups some experience was important, and we did it, and give up a touchdown, but still win the game. That was big.
Speaking of depth, I mean, you went into the season with the senior running back. You thought you were going to really lean on Trayshawn Garrett. He goes down. Josh Davis, the former Alta High star, we know him from back in his high school days. He's almost a 1,000-yard rusher this year. I mean, it just shows the depth on this team.
Well, it does, and Josh is a phenomenal player and has been all through his high school career, and we knew he was going to be great last year. His first play as a college player, he had a 50-yard kick return.
Wow.
And then we scored a touchdown that drive. The very next play he's in is a kickoff, and he pulls his hamstring. We end up redshirting him, but he's been great all year.
Player at quarterback position, Caden Jenks started for a while, suffered some injury. You've got Jake Constantine in now.
Yep.
It's it's nice to have the depth at the quarterback position.
It is, and I said all along that we could win with either one of those guys, and we did. We won some games with Caden, and then Jake took over, and he played really well, and then Caden went back in and ended up having another injury, and then since that time, the last 6-7 quarters, Jake Constantine's just played outstanding.
He's been really good. You guys are 7-2. 5-1 in the Big Sky, which has how many? 16 teams. There's like it seems like there's endless amount of teams in the Big Sky. One game behind UC Davis, but you don't get to play UC Davis this year. Is that frustrating at all? That they may win the Big Sky title without even having to play you?
It is, but that's part of the deal.
Yeah.
Last year we won the Big Sky Conference, and there were other teams that didn't have to play us.
Right.
And so I get that. I get that point. That's what's unique about this conference is you better not lose because you might not get an opportunity to get the champion.
You're right now ranked number 4. Are you the 4th best team in the country?
Well, I don't think anyone can say that at this point. That's why I love the playoff system. It gives you an opportunity to prove where you're really at. And last year, through the whole playoffs, we ended up number 5, and I think that's exactly where we were about that point last year. And if we wanted to be higher, we should have won. We should have beat James Madison.
How much do you think that run to the semifinals, the Final Four, so to speak, helped your team? Because you got a lot of returning guys, too. Have some guys that haven't been tested until this year. But that whole experience of getting to the national semifinals, how do you think that's helped your team this year?
Well, I think it's helped them a lot. We've been in big games. We've been in close games where we had to pull out something late.
Yeah.
But again, this is a different team, and these guys are going to have to prove it again, and we're going to have to win. We're going to have to win these last 2 games to assure ourselves a spot into the playoffs.
You said at the start of the season that you didn't want to hear about how good last year's team was because that was last year. And yet, there is a culture developing at Weber State now under your direction that is built to now the expectations are there. The bar is set.
Well, absolutely, and that's what we've wanted all along is we want players that are expecting to win, and we want their practice habits and how they handle their business on and off the field to reflect those expectations, and I think we're getting to that point. But again, each team's so different.
What was that like playing at the U? I know that was the first game of the year, but going against Kyle, I mean, you guys had a 10-0 lead at one point. You must have been like, hey, this could work out pretty good here. But that whole experience must have been great for your whole team.
They should have quit the game like 8 minutes in, just game over.
Games too long, aren't they?
Power goes out.
I've always said games go too long.
Well, it was fun to go back into Rice Eccles. And to play against the Utes was a good experience. I know one thing, that made our team better because they ended up kicking our butts that game. And it proved to us that we got a long ways to go and we got to keep working to what we want to accomplish. And I think our players have really taken that to heart and done a good job with that.
Really quickly, is it tough to fly under the radar because BYU, Utah State have all been ranked this year and they're Division I? Is it
not
tough
as high as number 4?
Exactly, but is it tough to kind of be under the radar for you guys?
Oh, no. I mean, that's not why we're in it. We're in it to win games. We're in it to build young men into grown men and to give them opportunities at education and a good football experience.
Wait, you're not in it for the media?
That
makes no sense.
Shows. It's clearly about the media exposure.
Now, I love being on with you guys, but
that's what we want.
I don't get hung up in the polls or where we're at or what's going on. All I care about is the next opponent, and a lot of people say that, but that's real with us. You just can't get, as soon as you get caught up in it, you're going to get beat.
That's right. Jay, 2 games left. Finish strong, man.
Come on, Coach.
We're rooting for you. You've heard what we have to say about this week's games. Coming up, we're going to go inside the locker rooms and the press conferences to hear from the Utes, Cougars, Jazz, and Real Salt Lake. It's our Bites of the Week.